What I did is I built a wedding website where suppliers could have their content put online and they could generate leads from it. It was a very powerful website. But one of the things we were struggling to do was get traffic to it. And so what we did is we found Facebook groups, massive Facebook groups of brides who would share photos of the weddings they'd been to. They would consistently run a competition, and every week they'd pick a bride, and at the end of every month they'd have a bride of the month, and then that bride would then be shared all over Facebook as the bride of the month. What was interesting for us is that we realized that they had nowhere to put that bride of the month other than on their Facebook page. So we said to them, hey, what we would love to do is just take your bride of the month, take that photo, interview her and find out about her wedding, and we will do a profile on her wedding as the prize for the content.
The ServQual model was created, as I said before, by paracetamol, benzoyl, and berry. There are 5 service gaps. So the ServQual model was designed to test the quality of service an organization is engendering to its customers. Let's give an example. Let's assume you've got this amazing date and you want to go along and take this date to a lovely restaurant with a fantastic ambiance, high quality food. So you go along there with the expectations of this being what you're desiring. On the other hand, you have a manager or an owner of the business who delivers a level of service based upon his understanding of the expectation. If the service level meets 100% to your expectations as a potential customer, then you have no service gap. But let's assume there is a major service gap. You get there and there are kids running around, the food is not that great, service is atrocious, a major service gap. So we all know what logistics is, isn't it? It's going from the supplier to the company, converted into a finished good or service, then goes to the retailer, sometimes an agency as well, but the retailer and then to consumer. The problem is what happens if when that particular product goes to the consumer's home and he or she tries, let's say, a hairdryer and it doesn't work. She then needs to take that hairdryer back to the retailer. It then goes from the retailer to the manufacturer. And just think about it. Let's assume this is an imported good, would have to go all the way back to China, to Japan, to wherever it comes from.
So for example, if you get overbilled or you have a snooty person at the counter not wanting to help you, or it's a Friday afternoon and everyone's doing their own thing at the store, these kind of things can have a negative impact on your understanding of the brand. But you might have fantastic experiences. You might have times where you're stuck in a jungle or a forest and you used your MTN phone and the line worked and you managed to get through to your friends and family and send pictures and so on. These are the kind of things that build up a brand. And one of the issues many brands have is this migration from being in just a bricks and mortar world to a post-digital world. Consumers will talk about it with other consumers and they might listen.
So for example, the rent of a company stays the same regardless of whether you sell 1 unit of inventory or if you sell 1,000. A variable cost is a cost that changes in direct proportion to the level of sales or activity within a business. So for example, in McDonald's, a variable cost could be the price of burger patties. The more burgers that McDonald's sells, the greater that variable cost, or the greater the cost of patties in the business. A semi-variable cost is a cost with both a fixed component as well as a variable component. For example, a telephone line. You often have to pay a fixed amount to rent this line every single month. This is a fixed cost. You also pay an amount for every call that you make. This is the variable component.